Let's roll. This is Sports Rage. I am Morency. Kicking it here on the Friday night Freak Show. Countdown to kickoff is on. We're now? Just 9 days away. 8 for those of you on the East Coast. Super Bowl 58, the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Really, to be honest, the bye week, you know what I mean? It hasn't been too Super Bowl heavy in the sports world. There's been so many other stories going on. NHL All Star Weekend, people always complaining about something about the NBA on a daily basis, players, fans, and everybody else in between. Big news from the NHL, besides Connor McDavid winning the skills contest tonight. The one guy that makes the most money wins the $1 million. But the other big news, the NHL players will be returning to the Olympics in 2026. They've agreed to terms to play in the next 2 Olympic Games, 2026 and 2030, which is super cool. 2026 is in Italy. So they're going back to Italy, and we're going to get the world's best versus the best. And Olympic hockey with the NHL players really has been like the best hockey that's been played, actually. Right? We haven't seen it in 12 years, essentially, in the last 2 Olympics. But for those of you that haven't, it is just over the top good. And this is going to be like the best tournament of all hockey tournaments, because the rest of the world, it used to be sort of Canada and everybody else. It's not that anymore. Like Sweden could win, Finland could win, the U.S. could win, Canada could win, right? Like hell, the Czech Republic could win. Everybody is going to be stacked and loaded in this tournament. Speaking of stacked and loaded, let's bring in Mick Aussie before he gets loaded. That's why we had to bring him on early tonight. What's going on, Mick?
Before he gets loaded. Good.
Olympic hockey is awesome, especially when it's played in non-America or Canada, because the ice surface is bigger, as you know, and it's more of an entertaining game. But yeah, love Olympic hockey. I grew up watching it when I was a kid in Australia, so good on Bettman. He finally done something right, eh?
Yeah, you know what? If we're going to criticize him, you got to tip your cap to them. The players wanted to do it the last Olympics, and it wasn't just Bettman. Bettman works in conjunction with the owners. The owners didn't want to do it. There's a lot, basically it always comes down to money, right? And what it really came down to is insurance. Who's going to pay? And I understand NHL owners, like, not wanting their players getting hurt in the middle of the season. Like, I sort of get it. Like, if you look at the NBA is in the off season, right? It's the summertime. So it doesn't, the teams don't like it, but it's not on their dime. It's not on, you're not on the clock for them then, right? That's what they don't like about it. I've always said they should just play hockey in the Summer Olympics. Problem solved. You don't have to shut down the NHL. You play in the summer and whatever. Hockey's not a winter sport anyways. I mean, seriously, when do they give the Stanley Cup, Cam? In late June.
It's pretty hot outside.
Summertime.
Yep. Exactly. And they got the best ice guys in the world. You can make ice anywhere, man. It doesn't matter what the temperature is. You can figure it out. Come on. Let's go.
But it's like the NBA. The NBA and the NHL plays at the exact same time in the regular season, right? But they're deemed like a summer sport. So whatever, dude. If you played it anyways, like all the great hockey tournaments in the past have been in August and stuff. So you could do it in the summer. It would be revolutionary, but the Olympic Committee didn't want to do that. The NHL was open to that actually before, but it was the Olympic Committee that was like, no, we're not taking hockey out of the damn Olympic Games, the winter games, and putting it in the summer games just because you guys want to do it. But nevertheless, so Mick, what do you got for us? First things first, what's it like in Edmonton right now? You guys planning your Stanley Cup parade because you've won 16 games in a row now?
Hey, we're not like those stinky Leafs fans that win one preseason game and think they've won the Stanley Cup. No, people are pretty cool. They're very happy, obviously, and they can equal the record, I believe, against Vegas, but that's a tough game. So 16 in a row, that's pretty amazing, especially when, fair few goals in hockey tend to be fluky and you can win or lose 1-0. So very impressive, absolutely. Real, especially after the rough start they had. Wow, it was terrible there for a while here.
No, I hope, listen, I hope it's going to be a fun spring in Winnipeg and in Vancouver and in Edmonton and in Toronto. Hopefully all these teams are able to do well in the playoffs. But I said this last night, Cam, and I stand by it. I'll be in Vegas on Tuesday night as the Edmonton Oilers and Vegas Golden Knights play. And I think Vegas is going to end the streak. I think the All-Star break is going to that, you know what I mean? They're coming out. The Vegas Golden Knights didn't have the best first half of the season, but wasn't terrible. They're still really good. But I think the Knights will start to dial it up a little bit. Like, you know what I mean, Cam? This is a big game coming out of the break. Oilers on a 16-game win streak. It's in Vegas. The Vegas Golden Knights are going to want to remind the Oilers, we're the champions, not you.
And Connor McDavid very busy this weekend, as you know, Gabe, winning the competition, and he's there, family there, Draisaitl there, stars of that team. You're right. Vegas is a very, very good hockey team. Hey, they win that game.
Now they're going to have to fly west.
Well, you saw him. So, these guys are not just doing like interviews and stuff. He was on the ice tonight. You saw some of the competition. Another thing, too, they win that game, Edmonton, then they got Anaheim. Then they probably will beat the streak. But, it should be a great game against Vegas.
And then they get the LA Kings. Okay, Mick. What do you got for us for the Super Bowl? What's your excitement factor for this game? You looking forward to this one?
Yeah.
You got to be pulling for San Francisco.
Oh, absolutely. And 49ers one of my favorite teams growing up. So, yes, I absolutely hope the 49ers will win. And as I do every year, I give my pick now, 9 days before the game, like I did when the Chiefs beat the 49ers. I picked them by 10. They won by 11. So my calculation comes out to Chiefs winning by 6. I think they have the better offense. They have the better defense. 49ers have been very lucky to win both games. Absolutely they have. They were playing better earlier in the season. I hate to say it, and I really hope I'm wrong, and I hope this calculation is wrong. Chiefs by 6 to 7, I believe. They will win. They have more players with Super Bowl experience, the better quarterback, lots of factors. But, and of course, the extra item of who does the NFL want to win? Of course, they want Taylor Swift up on that stage after the game. Let's not kid ourselves. They absolutely do. And that media company that reported that Taylor Swift has made the NFL and the Chiefs $330 million. What a load of Cleveland Browns in our pants. Why do we believe exaggerated numbers? I guessed $50 million a couple of weeks ago. My mate guessed $20 million. $330 million. They just throw numbers out there and exaggerate, and everyone believes it except me and probably you.
It was. You know what that was? People are very smart nowadays, Mick. That number one. So number two, that story, if you actually read it too, like you said, how the hell does anybody know how much money the NFL has made? Like, because
exactly.
like the NFL makes $300 million a week without Taylor Swift. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're already making money. But what the actual story was, but they didn't word it properly, was that Taylor Swift has gotten the NFL $330 million worth of publicity. Like, you know what I mean? Like, free publicity, which is a rankable thing. Like, they actually do. You'll see this a lot. Like, from free, because you're getting free media coverage, social media hits, free media coverage, etc., and you're attaching yourself to this brand name. So that is the true story. They've gotten endless amounts of free publicity because of Taylor Swift, but they haven't made $330 million because of her. They've sold a couple of thousand Kelsey jerseys. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, and even then, how many Taylor Swift fans are really buying Kelsey jerseys?
Exactly. Good point.
And I saw a thing the other day. It was 24% of Taylor Swift fans are interested in the Kansas City Chiefs and Travis Kelce. Like, so not all of them. It was like a quarter of her fans are like, yeah, I'm interested in her relationship and I watch because of it type thing.
Yeah. I get annoyed with the rubbish they tell us. Like, let's say a sporting event comes to Edmonton and they say, it brings in $200 million to the economy. And you start working out, okay, hotel rooms, food, ticket prices, cabs, restaurants, and I go, hang on, it's like a quarter of the amount. They exaggerate. Maybe extra people might come for the next 100 years. They build that into it or something. Then another story. This is you've got to be so careful. And I heard this twice this week, that a plane turned around because some guy was farting on the plane. I'm thinking, the whole world's gone nuts. The plane turned around in midair, did it? But no, it was taxiing on the runway. So they just exaggerate, and you've got to read articles in full before you retweet it or whatever, because we put up with so much rubbish these days. People lying and people exaggerating. It's out of control, as you know.
Mick Aussie
what a story.
on a soapbox here. All right, thanks, Mick. So walk us through your sheet here. How'd you get to a 6-point Kansas City win?
All right, well, some factors do not apply for the Super Bowl, like recent record, home field advantage. That doesn't apply. Better quarterback, only item that you can have 7 points. Every other item you can have 3. I'm giving it to Patrick Mahomes, so 3 points there, but I hope Brock Purdy is a star. Injuries. Chiefs have got a few more injuries than the 49ers, so 1 point there for the 49ers. Coaching advantage, I'll give that slightly to Andy Reid and Spagnuolo and his mob. They're very good. Shanahan's good as well, but slight coaching advantage to the Chiefs. Who my favourite NFLers pick? Well, I heard who you guys pick, so that's equal at this stage. Turnovers in recent weeks, I'll give 49ers an advantage there. Chiefs an advantage with 1 point for more Super Bowl playoff experience. Absolutely. And then 2 points for who the NFL want to win. They want the Chiefs to win. They've been lucky because both the Ravens and your Bills blew it, so the umpires didn't need to cheat.
So you're saying Taylor Swift is worth 2 points?
Hey.
Yeah, she's worth 2 points. The other was 1.
She's worth 2 points to the point spread.
Exactly.
Well, thanks for letting me run through. That was good. I enjoyed that.
Everybody thinks there's a conspiracy about everything nowadays. But look, Vinovich did the Super Bowl last time. They had the same referee that did the Super Bowl last time these two they played, ironically enough. And he only called 9 penalties in the game. If anything, he's known for not calling penalties a lot in these big games. For the record, that's one of my props, actually. Under 10.5 accepted penalties in this game. You have 2 disciplined teams. Like I said, last time they played, there was 9 penalties in the Super Bowl between them. And they're not calling a lot of penalties in the NFL. Like, unless you do something stupid like Baltimore did last week 5 times in a row and start punching people in the face and stuff in front of the ref, they're not going to call it. Right? They don't call pass interference much. They haven't even in the regular season in the last 2 months of the season. So that's one of the props I do like a lot. Under 10.5 penalties. No one's going to give you that one. You know what an octopus is?
What's that?
Cam? Octopus.
What what's an octopus?
Will there be an octopus in the Super Bowl? This is a new one they're adding to the market.
Okay. 8? What is it?
And there's only been one. It's only happened once in the Super Bowl ever. It actually freaking happened last year. It's 13-1. An octopus is the same player scores the touchdown and then gets the 2-point convert after.
Ooh, I like that.
But mixed guy Connor McDavid saved me by winning the accuracy challenge tonight at plus 600. He won the whole damn thing, but I didn't have him to win it all. He was chalk. But I did take him. I was like, he's going to win a couple of these events, but it was pretty sharp capping it. I got the right one. Then I got in on the one that he won at plus 600. So, what's your final score, Mick? What's your sheet say here after all the thinking and plotting that you've done, scheming?
Yeah, look. We all know the game can be close, and it's one thing that might determine the outcome of the game. We all know that, but it's great fun talking about it. I'll go the Chiefs 27-21, so that's half a point over the number. But like I said, I hope the 49ers do win. I really do. Couple of prop bets. Here's a nice one. Going to overtime, plus 900. That's some juice there. Second half higher scoring. I like that one at minus 110. And you mentioned this one, the first offensive play of the game. Well, that's probably going to be a run, isn't it? And multi-touchdown scorers, Pacheco plus 400, Debo plus 800. There's a bit of juice there in those two, but be careful with prop bets. They're hard.
I like, thanks for paying attention, Mick. As I did talk about the first play of the game, rush being a rush attempt. I think either team, the Kansas City want to run the ball on San Francisco. You can run the ball on them. They're going to give it to Pacheco, and they don't want Purdy to throw a pick on the first play of the game. They're just going to hand it off to McCaffrey.
Gotta warm them up. Warm them up a bit, for sure.
Teams are usually safe, man. 4 of the last 5 Super Bowls have started off with a rush in the Super Bowl. 4-1 last 5. This is Sports Rage. I am Morency. Level 2 has begun. The SportsGrid Radio and Television Networks. Good stuff with Mick. I like how he dropped some props on the way out.